Confident men are willing to make unpopular decisions. I think this is very important for us to discuss so that we can understand ourselves better. This is by default a follow-up to that video I made predicting how many of my subscribers look at pornography and how that's ultimately only reinforcing insecurities about hair loss. And I revealed that I've never looked at pornography. I've never even had any desire to participate in the game to see this false idea that you're not a man until you sleep with a woman, and then how many can you until you get too old and creepy. I talked about that. So if you haven't seen that video, it's, I'm sure, very interesting. And it helped me to understand as I made the video that as an individual, I'm a man who's made many unpopular decisions in my life, and I still do. Okay? So even aside from the whole never looked at pornography thing, there's the fact too, as you all know, I'm a vegan, been a vegan for over 5 years. In a world where masculinity is judged on how much sausage and bacon and beef that you eat, then there's a guy who hasn't had any animal products in over 5 years and is healthier and happier than he's been in his whole life as far as that goes. There's the fact of politically, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm not into choosing a side of the fence and then hurling rocks at the other and demonizing them and then thinking that my own team is the winning team. I don't play that game. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, and that's something else that makes me uncommon. As a parent, I'm part of the 20% of parents who doesn't spank my children. I don't believe in it. And it's not that they're awful kids. In fact, my son in particular, who's 7, he's many times won awards for his great behavior. We've got notes about his great behavior from his teachers. And, it's just a matter of rethinking the system. Okay, well, you know what? It's not that a kid is misbehaving as much as it is they're one of 5 things. They're hungry, they're tired, they're sick, they're bored, or they're lonely. And you figure out when they're misbehaving which one of those it is. But more importantly, as a parent, you're always ahead of that. If you know it's about time for a nap, you go ahead and put that in your schedule. If you know it's getting close to them needing a snack, you get them a snack. You don't punish a child for being hungry or tired or lonely or sick or bored. You don't do that. I'm part of the minority though. Most parents believe, well, I was spanked as a kid and it didn't mess me up too bad. I never murdered anybody. People tend to, people want to belong. That's the thing. People want to fit in. They don't want to stick out. But a confident person is willing to stick out. A confident guy is willing to say, you know what? I've never looked at pornography and I never wanted to. I never felt left out. I never wanted any part of that. As far as eating meat and eggs and dairy, I could if I wanted to. I don't look down on other people who do, but I'm happier and healthier now that I don't. I don't need to believe in how polarized political belief systems that you have to be all for President Trump or completely against him or whoever it is that's going to be elected next, and then after that and that. I don't buy into that system. In the same way, again, I don't spank my kids. These are just things off the top of my head. My whole life has been this way. I've made unpopular decisions. When I say unpopular decisions, I don't necessarily mean decisions that people didn't like. I mean decisions that most people would not even think to do because it wasn't normal. It's not normal to be a man who doesn't eat meat, especially bacon and sausage. And if he doesn't, you assume, how do I say it? That he's not manly. Let me just word it that way. I'm willing to make unpopular decisions, and I always will be, and I always have, because I'm a confident person to begin with. Again, remind yourself that everyone wants to be included. They want to feel a part of society. That's the norm. Most people are consumers. The minority of people are creators. We understand how the rest of the world functions. We're not necessarily as human as everybody else, but we are able to make decisions that are best for ourselves, and never do we think, but that's not normal, but that's not what everyone else is doing. I mean, me, the individual person, I've only told you a few things about my life that are not normal and accepted in society like everybody else is used to. But it doesn't bother me. I'm not insecure about it. In fact, I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I'm different. I don't want to do everything normal like everybody else does. If I can find a better way that's more beneficial for me and is more efficient, really, then I'll unplug from that system. And isn't that what I've always said about this channel? Is that it's a matter of unplugging from the system when it comes to hair loss, that you have to have a certain hairstyle and a certain amount of hair before you'll be seen as attractive. And meanwhile, Nick Shell over here says, you really believe this society is judging you on your hair instead of your confidence level, instead of the fact whether you believe in yourself no matter what. See, I don't believe into that worldly system. I don't need to be accepted by society like so many other people do. And I think that's a fundamental issue. And you've probably heard the same before, that for so many people, the need to be seen by society makes them invisible to society. Now, for all I know, I'm invisible to most of society, but I don't care. I don't need to be seen by them. I'm not looking for their approval. In fact, I assume they don't accept me because I'm not normal in so many ways. I mean, just think about that. A man who's a vegan, that's weird. And then who am I going to argue with at election time if I don't care about either candidates because I believe it's all polarized system and it's all arbitrary? I don't fit into society there in so many ways. But it reinforces the concept that a confident man is willing to make unpopular decisions. In fact, I would even argue that a confident man, his whole lifestyle is built on unpopular decisions, not necessarily decisions that other people don't like, but decisions that other people would not choose.